All right, all right. Hey, welcome everybody to another episode of Building Character, where we take a role-playing game, usually our favorite, and build a character for that game. Today we're going to be taking two miniatures that were painted this week. I'm painting Happy Little Minis. I am your host, Rick. Right there, says it, right over there. And we're going to be painting some twins, some elvish twins. As you can see here, we've got the two miniatures I painted yesterday. I'm painting Happy Little Minis, and I figured, why not take them and make them a paired duo? They look pretty cool. These are, of course, miniatures by WizKids, part of their unpainted, pre-primed line of Nolzurs, or I actually think these ones are deep cuts, actually. But anyways, let's get to it and make some characters. And if I can get my phone over here to open up, we can see who's all with us today, because I want to make sure that we can talk about all the fun stuffs. But let's start off with stats. We're going to go, right now I'm just going to go elf with shield. And before we get to the names, and then elf with flail, elf with bow, or axe. With axe. All right. And there we go. What's up, Keith and Sarah? How are you guys doing today? Thank you for joining us. But yeah, stats begin. Uh-oh. Uh-oh. 10. Meh, meh, meh. All right. Let's try another set. Uh-oh. I'm going to get rid of one of those ones. All right. 8, 9, 10 again. Uh-oh. These are going to be just your average elves. All right. Let's do one more set here. All right. Dang. 12. All right. This is rough. Oh, that's 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Huh. Killing it over here. I don't know what to say about it. What do you guys think? This is, I don't know if these guys are going to make it. I don't know if they'll survive past first level. All right, two more for the first one here. 9, 10, 11, 12. And last one for elf with shield. That is so bad.
I don't think I've ever seen you roll anything that bad before.
I haven't. I don't think I have either.
What was that, 5?
It was a 5. Ugh. I know, Gary, standard array is always fun, but we like to roll the dice and hear the dice and stuff like that, and deal with our horrible roll results. All right. I kind of feel like the dice tower is against us these last couple episodes. Yep, character fell into a well, re-roll. All right, we'll go to the elf with axe. All right, 11. I wonder if it's these dice. They haven't been attuned properly. All right, 14. It's a little better. If you guys are watching, please share this. That would be great. 12. All right. Yikes. 13. We got 2 more. 10. Man, whew. These are painful. All right. Let's see if we can get one more in here. Man, that was riding on that 6. I lost it. 13. All right. Oof. Those are painful. Do we keep those rolls, or do we maybe roll one extra set for each one and hopefully be able to drop off one of those? What do you guys think?
Well, let's take a look at them again real quick.
All right, so the
Elf
first
with
one.
shield. Here we go.
Yep. 10, 10, 12, 11, 12, 5.
Elf with the axe.
All right. I mean, that one's not bad. Not really. His lowest score is a 10. So
Well,
he has
the twins, shouldn't they be the same?
No, no. They just look alike. God, that is killing it. I'm going to real quick share this.
Because sharing is caring.
That is right. Sharing is caring. There we go. And one more. What's the last elven character you've played out there? Anybody that's watching? I would love to hear your character stories. All right. There we go. And back to this. All right. The 5 is unworkable. You're right. The 5 is just painful. Jeremy says mulligan. At least, you know what? I think on the elf with shield, I do feel like a mulligan is in order. What do you think, Johnny?
Yeah, I'm inclined to.
Because, I mean, he literally has nothing.
Yeah.
All right. So what's from the top? I almost want to do this.
For the entire thing? Or
Yeah,
just that
the entire stat line.
All right.
And I'm not going to use the tower. Does this look okay? Right there. No, that was just a test. Test to see if it looked okay. Just a test to see if it looked okay. I think it looks fine. Nice. Sarah's playing a Drow Monster Slayer. All right, what do we got? 6, 5, 4, 5, so 16. All right. $14. These are looking better. 16. I tell you what, that dice tower, I'm going to have to retire it. Oh, there you go. What was that, 11? 9, 10, 11?
Well, that dice tower has never been that great since you broke that one peg off in the bottom.
You're right. That's what it is. All right, so 13. And one last one. All right, 10. That's more like it. All right, so elf with shield is now 16, 14, 16, 11, 13, 10. All right, that's much better. Whew. But now let's take a look at those miniatures that we're basically referencing. You're right, now he's a bit OP. But he looks like, between the two brothers here, he looks like he would be the one that's a little OP, a little stronger. I like building epic heroes, so let's take a look at this guy. He's got a flail. He's got a big shield that has like a dragon or a demon on the face of it.
Now, is that a flail or a mace?
Well, a mace can be technically either one. A mace tends to just be a solid ball on a stick with spikes. a flail tends to have that chain thing going on. And then, of course, you got the brother with the bow and the axe. So before we get any further, what are their classes? Are they both fighters? Is one a ranger, one a fighter, one a paladin? What do we got going here? And then also we have to come up with names for these two. So I'm kind of leaning towards a paladin or a fighter for the elf with shield, and a ranger or a fighter, straight fighter for the elf with bow. Paladin and ranger. Okay, that's Gary. I like that. Sarah agrees. Okay, so we'll do that. So elf with shield will be a paladin, and elf with bow or axe is a ranger. All right. Very nice. Now, based on the paladin, obviously 16 charisma, because paladins run in that arena. Do we want to give 14 wisdom or 16 wisdom and then drop everything else in the other stats for the paladin? Percival the Stout-Hearted. First to the key. So for the paladin elf, do we want to give the other 16 to their wisdom or strength or constitution? Where do we want to drop that other 16? Adrahil and Imrahil automatically translate. Nice. Okay, Sarah, you win. Adrahil is going to be the paladin, and Imrahil the ranger. I like those. Well, you just got to come up with either a title or last names. Strength, okay. Sarah says strength. So we'll go with that, strength, and I'll put that 14 in wisdom. And then the 10 in intelligence, 13 dex, 11 con. All right, so we have the stats for Adrahil, and then let's go over to Imrahil and give out their stats. So dex 14, wisdom 13, strength 13, con 12, (11) intelligence, 10 charisma. A little more wild than his brother. Sarah's, oh, you have the Elven dictionaries from Tolkien. Ah, that makes sense. I can see that. Okay, so now that we have our race, class, and stats put down, we need to also think about the level of these characters and kind of start thinking about what is their professions and their backgrounds. Based on the two of them, I wonder if they both worship the same god and go out on missions for the Elvish church, or are the last two of a family, and the ranger is a monster slayer, and the paladin, of course, follows in the family's religious footsteps. Dave Taylor says, how about they both use the same set of roles, the second set, but the roles are assigned to different stats? Jess says 7th to 9th level. Ooh. I'm thinking 7th level. 9th is pretty high. 7th level is a decent, fun fun level to play. I like that. We'll go 7th level on both of these guys. That's super cool. All right. Now, based on that information, so who wants me to do that? I mean, we did roll 2 separate sets of stats, but do you think we should take the same set, the second roll for Adrahil, the Paladin, and just take the same stats and put them on Imrahil, but in different spots, so that again, that the twin capacity is there, even though the racial modifiers will change them a little bit as well. Gary, that is their acolyte and folk hero. I can dig that. I can walk with that. Okay, Sarah says same stats. All right, I'll do that then.
Oh, so that's like the exact same thing that I just said earlier.
Yeah, but I didn't like it when you said it, Johnny. Hey, Dave, if you are still watching, little known fact, they're not great, but I did paint 4 miniatures on the episode yesterday on Painting Happy Little Minis. I'm going to put all 4 of them up here so you can see them. But I painted all 4 of those guys yesterday. I know they're works in progress. All right. So if we're going to take the same stats, then that means a 16 in dexterity, a 16 in strength, a 14 in wisdom. I still want a 10 in charisma, 11 intelligence, and that puts a 13 on con for Imrahil. Right, Jesse, they don't have to be the same anything. Dwarves are already a win in my eyes. Yeah, those dwarves are cool. Thank you. Those might be next week's building character. I'll take them back off. Get rid of them. Back to the elves. All right. So, based on the fact that they're both going to be 7th level, what do you think would be, and I'll do the stat mods later. I kind of want to get into the meat of the character so that, what do you think would be their like secondary path? So if we go Paladin, and if there's any other like paths that you would prefer instead of like Monster Slayer for the Ranger that are in any other books, just let me know. I do have some of the other guides here to my side so we can take a look at other stuff. So the Paladin at 3rd level takes a sacred oath. And some of the sacred oaths, when you reach 3rd level, you swear the oath that binds you as a paladin forever. Up to this time, you have been in a preparatory stage, committed to the path, but not yet sworn to it. Now you choose the oath of devotion, the oath of the ancients, or the oath of vengeance. Ooh. So, based on that information, the oath of devotion, ancients, or vengeance. What do you think the paladin, the one with the shield and the flail, would be the which oath? Oath of the ancients. 1000-Year Beard says they have each 1/3 of a burrito and have joined together on a quest to find the 3rd piece. Replace the burrito with something cool. Stefan says, my friend and I are half-orc twins, both fighters. He went EK and I'm a Cavalier tank, both in the Knights of Mr. Nice. Ancients. Ancients is kind of default for elf. The Oath of the Ancients is as old as the race of elves and rituals of the druids, sometimes they're called Fey Knights, Green Knights, or Horned Knights. Paladins who swear this oath cast their lot with the side of the light in the cosmic struggle against darkness, because they love the beautiful and life-giving things of the world. Okay. All right, I can dig that. So, Oath of the Ancients. I love it. They get some cool spells too. Ensnaring Strike, Speak with Animals, Misty Step, Moonbeam. Those are all really good. At 7th level, it forms an eldritch ward. You and friendly creatures within 10 feet of you have resistance to damage from spells. All right. That's kind of cool. Let's take a look at something else here. When, you know, I always like giving them a steed, right? Who doesn't want a really cool steed? So what would our Elven Paladin, Oath of the Ancients, what kind of steed would they have? All right, Keith, be well. Beastmaster? No, we can do anything, Stefan. We can do any. I have almost every book here to the side here that we need. Even if you haven't picked it up yet, Waterdeep Dragonized. You should check it out if you haven't picked it up. It's very cool. You know, Dave, I was thinking a moose as well. How cool would that be with that big, majestic antler spread? Or an elk, a great elk. You guys have some good answers here. All right, so because you have so many, I'm gonna grab this set of dice here. And let's see, we have a moose, a stag, an elk, or a great elk. And of course, we do not have a D4. And that's, there we go. Roll them bones. I'm going to Bob. Hey everybody, Bob France is in the chat. Say hi to Bob. He is a good friend of mine, and him and some others have a really cool comic book Kickstarter on right now called, I believe it's called Chasing the Moon. Is that right? All right, so a 1, it's a moose, a 2, it's a stag, a 3, it's an elk, a 4, it's a great elk. All right, so here we go. It is a 4. It is a great elk. So rides a great elk. That is super cool. And so we have that. And someone had said earlier that folk hero as a background for this, for the Paladin. Why? Why folk hero? And why Beastmaster, which I am not upset with. I love the idea of a Beastmaster for the Ranger. And why a, what was the answer to that one back there? It was Acolyte. An Acolyte for the Ranger. Let's go to those real quick. Check those out. Under the backgrounds. All right, Acolyte. As a ranger, you spent your life in the service of a temple to a specific god or pantheon of gods. Okay, so him being, his brother being the paladin and him being an acolyte under the same pantheon would be really cool. You are not necessarily a cleric performing sacred rites. It is not the same thing as channeling divine power. All right, so what do you guys think? Should we go with Acolyte for the Ranger? I really do like Folk Hero for the Paladin. So while we think about the Ranger's background, let's just go right to Folk Hero and do the rolls and see what we get here. Folk Hero. Well, it was kind of cool with the Folk Hero, they usually come from a humble social rank, but you are destined for so much more. Already the people of your home village regard you as their champion. I do like that. It's kind of like the Hansel and Gretel story where Jeremy Renner is Hansel. He's kind of rough and gritty, but his sister is kind of the white witch and looked up more by the people. I like that. All right, so our defining event is a D10. Let's find out what that was. Folk hero gets skill proficiencies in animal handling, survival, suited to Oath of Ancients Paladin. Good call, Gary and Sarah. All right, here we go. A D10 to find out what the defining event was behind the creation of Adrahil. Shoot. Recruited into a lord's army, rose to leadership, and was commended for their heroism. That's interesting. Rose in leadership in an army, and now has come back to his village and has discovered maybe that something has happened, and that's why him and his brother have joined up together to go out and adventure, or maybe hunt down and chase down a threat. So we'll write that down. Recruited in the army and commanded for heroism. Rose in leadership. Commended hero. I like it. So personality traits is a D8. And we get to roll 2 of these, which is always fun. Yeah, folk heroes do need a tall tale. I'm kind of curious as to what kind of like major conflict went down that he had to be basically recruited into the forces of a military force. So this character has as part of their personality, have a strong sense of fair play, and always try to find the most equitable solution to any argument. Okay, so fair play, and try to find a good, equitable solution. All right, so that's kind of cool. Let's see what his other personality trait is. Doubled up on that one. So the other one was, I misuse long words in an attempt to sound smarter. I don't foresee Adrahil doing that, but I do see that gets bored easily, is very curious as to when he's going to get on with his destiny. Gets bored easily, wants adventure. Okay. Transcripted into the, wasn't really recruited, just transcripted. Yikes. Their ideal. No one should get preferential treatment before the law, and no one is above the law. All right, so fairness is his ideal. It kind of fits with the first thing. I can dig that. Their bond, also a D6, 5. I protect those who cannot protect themselves. Okay. And again, that sounds very much like this character, like maybe during a major battle while he was part of the army, he came across maybe some villagers that were like trapped and being overrun, and him and his unit stood the ground and were able to divert or eliminate that threat, thus saving those individuals, and he got commended in the act of bravery. That'd be pretty cool. All right, so as all characters have a flaw, so shall Adrahil. And Adrahil's flaw is, I don't know how I feel about this. It says, I have trouble trusting in my allies. Maybe he's one of those individuals that feels like he has to, if you want it done, you got to do it yourself, and doesn't allow others to kind of do the thing. If he's working with a rogue, hey, I need you to go ahead and search for traps. Maybe he doesn't feel confident that the rogue's going to do that job. type situation. What do you guys think? Should I keep that? He killed the big bad by accident. Kind of like if you've seen the movie 10,000 BC, the white spear. In order to get it, you have to kill the mammoth, and he accidentally kills the mammoth. I like the idea of maybe re-rolling. I have trouble trusting in his allies. That could be it. I think what we could do with that is during his time in, as a part of the military and the armed forces or army that he was a part of, he was sent to that village. He was expecting backup from the main force to help whatever that threat was. They never came, and so he has. Granted, he got accolades for protecting the villagers in the town or whatever, but now he has a kind of side eyes his allies because they didn't back his play. That could be a good one. Ooh, yeah, his tall tale could be with the great elk. Let's see what his tall tale. I do like that. That we will tie in the elk to his tall tale, and that could be because he is proficient with like speaking with animals and everything. Maybe he was able to coerce this great elk to go into the battle with him, and just because he rode majestically into the fray with this on top of this great elk and just was laying waste to all of his enemies. It kind of like built on the story that is Adrahil, and yeah, I think they did mean conscripted. Yeah. All right. So that's kind of the backstory on Adrahil. Let's go over to his brother Imrahil, the ranger, beastmaster, acolyte, and figure out what he's all about. A 4 for personality. Nothing can shake my optimistic attitude. All right. So he's optimistic. Just kind of always good, jolly, happy. Everything's on the light side. Oh, crap. Okay. All right. This is kind of cool. So his second personality trait is, I idolize a particular hero of my faith and constantly refer to that person's deeds and example. I feel like he idolizes his brother. That would be kind of fun, yeah?
It says person in his faith?
Yeah, because the brother is a paladin to the faith and a folk hero.
Oh, I got you.
It kind of makes it, if they were bad guys, it would be Butch and Spike. What are we going to do today, Spike? Oh, shut up. But because they're brothers and, the one brother idolizes the other. I love it. So the Beastmaster idolizes his paladin brother, which is super cool. And he's always super optimistic. He never says, I have a bad feeling about this. It's always, I got a good feeling about this. D6 for his ideal of 5. Faith. I trust that my deity will guide my actions. So he's extremely faithful. Full of faith. Now it makes me wonder, like, which deity would the brothers worship? Yeah, we're just bounced over to the ranger for their background as an acolyte, which is really, as I'm reading these and kind of tying them to the Beastmaster Ranger format, acolyte is actually a really cool thing because rangers are extremely tied to, their faith of the wild, perhaps, or whatever. I mean, I hate to use Drist as an example, but he was very much spoke of his deity. So Class is always full Beastmaster. All right, so we're back. We're now on to Bond. And what did we get there? A 5. I will do anything to protect the temple where I served. That's very cool. And he could have served not only as the Beastmaster to all, you know, tending to all the animals that the temple used, you know, for whatever, but also he could have been the one that went out to hunt for the food and stuff. Oh man, this character is actually, yeah, I like all this stuff. I like it. Which takes us to the flaw. Everybody has a flaw. Let's find out what his is. The Ranger's flaw is, I judge others harshly and myself even more severely. I don't know. I don't know how that really works. Maybe he judges them if they're not up to his brother's standard that he has put his brother on. Maybe he judges them, and then he judges himself because he doesn't feel like he's at his brother's level. But his brother obviously has faults.
Maybe he judges other people for their lack of faith.
Yeah, I can dig that. All right.
I find your lack of faith disturbing.
Yeah, always. I like that, Sarah, because he is always comparing himself to his brother, which, you know, later on down as maybe as a storyline goes, that could almost be a detriment to their relationship, you know. Which, I mean, just for story would be kind of cool. All right, so we've got about 15 minutes left, which takes us to, I mean, and we only do like the bare bones. I come back and I usually flesh them out later, but so we have their background. We have 2 brothers. They're twins. One's a ranger acolyte who totally idolizes his paladin brother, who is a folk hero, and the paladin is a oath of the ancients, and the ranger is a beastmaster. But now let's take a look at these miniatures, and and they're both 7th level, so they're going to have some magic on them. Let's figure out what they are both wielding that is of magical nature. As you look at the paladin coming around, you can see that he has that shield and the flail. He's wearing some armor, some plated armor. It looks like he even has, yeah, just some, like a half plate armor there. And then, of course, the ranger has the bow, that big axe, and some arrows that look like they could be like arrows of slaying. And he also has what could be a metallic breastplate, but I think that it is more like an elven chain. Just really fine. So what do you all think as far as the paladin goes? What would be something magical based on what he has up on his person? That shield is sick. Did you say
that shield was a dragon?
Here, I'm going to go ahead and just move it real quick. Yeah, it's like a dragon or a demon head.
Okay, because I wasn't sure if it looks like a goat.
I'm going to put it over here. Let's take a look at it right here.
Hold on, focus.
I mean, it might be a goat, or I think it's a dragon. No, I think it's a dragon. Or a bull? Yeah, it could be a bull.
I'm looking at the snout on the end of it.
Oh, yeah. I see what you're saying.
The snout on the end, though, makes it look kind of more bullish.
Mm-hmm. So what do you guys think this shield could be? Shield of, of ramming or something, maybe? A force shield? All custom stuff. The flail has to be magic. I agree. That flail absolutely has to be magical. Baby elk shield. So all custom stuff, nothing found. Yeah. So let's say, all right. Oh, this is kind of cool. So the folk hero brother paladin comes back from being out at war for years, finds that his brother is also of the faith. But when he comes back home, there was a tragedy of some sort. The temple and the village got smashed or something. And so one of the local blacksmiths, with some help from some dwarven friends, forged the flail and the axe for the brothers to go out and like hunt down or stop or do something in regards to you know, to right the wrong that was done to the temple. So they're almost like holy weapons of some sort, but not like holy avengers or anything like that. Just a flail of disruption. Okay, yeah, because it could be an undead threat. So a flail of disruption would be good. I like that. And what do you think of the axe that the ranger? Because that axe just looks just crazy evil, or destructive. I'm like looking at it going, I mean, it could be an axe of wounding, man, that blade is just crazy. Or it could just be like a +3 axe of I don't know. I know that I want it to be like what's something that is besides disruption that really affects the undead. Can't say lightning. I mean, we could actually make it a flame axe where it does fire damage. A lot of undead don't like fire. Could be that. What do you think, Johnny? What kind of damage do you think?
I don't know. You're asking the rookie here.
I am asking the rookie, but that could bring some clean ideas. Axe of sunlight. So it'll radiate out a beam of sunlight of some sort. Yeah, a lot of undead don't like that. A flame tongue axe. That's what it is. Axe of the flame tongue. I can dig it. And I also feel like some of those arrows would be arrows of slain undead. Like 6 arrows of slain undead that were specially made by one of the yeah. +3 with imbued random versus undead spells. Yeah. I can dig that. Six arrows of slain undead. And he has to save them. They can only be used, he has regular arrows, but he can only use those ones against the big threat, be it like Lord Timber, the vampire mage, or some other lich or something like that. Whoever the big bad was in that whole scenario of why they have joined together as brothers to go out into the world and stop some threat that has leached into their community, that while the paladin brother was off to war and not there to protect the, you know, now he's back. Make it happen. All right. What do you think about like the other armor? That shield, I feel like that shield is...
That shield's gotta be something.
Yeah. I kind of feel like if you do go with like the dragon theme to it, that the shield could be, you know, like just a regular +2 shield, but it has the same effect as like the spell shield, where when you cast, if any magic missiles or magical bolts of energy are shot, they immediately are drawn to that spot and are absorbed by the shield. up to a certain amount of damage, and then after that, the damage does get through. But yeah, like a dragon scaled shield, yeah. But kind of like if I do a ray of frost or a bolt of a magic missile or lightning bolt, that even if I'm casting over here, it literally will divert to that character because the shield has that magical property that draws all bolts and blasts and stuff to it. It's not going to like prevent like area effect stuff like a fireball from doing what it does, but it would definitely, you know, magic missiles and stuff like that. A shield of shielding, yeah. That sounds exactly right. I mean, it sounds weird, but I just feel like that's what it should do. But more than just the shield spell. And it was made by Schilderson von Schilderson, a dwarf.
Of the New Hampshire von Schildersons?
Yeah, of the New Hampshire von Schildersons. Yeah, that's what this dwarf's last name now is, von Schilderson. All right. Very cool. I think we're pretty much down to the end here as far as like what we can do in the 1 hour. So I do appreciate everybody joining us today. If you want to find out more about Dungeons & Dragons, you can go over to the Dungeons & Dragons websites. Obviously, they're all over the place. Watch all the cool shows that are being streamed about people playing their games because they're freaking awesome. But we do appreciate you all joining us here at Game Trade Media for building character, painting happy little minis, and board games and beyond. You guys definitely make our community better, and we are proud to be a part of your community, and thank you for letting us be a part of it. But if you want to join a community, go to your local game store and become a part of your local community. If you are a gamer that is knowledgeable on role-playing games, board games, take your knowledge to the store and share it with new people. Put up posts of like looking for a group, looking for players. Build your community, because the more that we have being a part of this is just better. You can join our Facebook groups. We have Painting Happy Little Minis. If you join that, we also have one for Game Trade Media, just a group as well, besides our page. So join those, become part of those communities. Share, if you're painting miniatures, share that with us. If you're building characters, share those with us too, because I love reading about people's characters. It's actually one of my favorite things. Based on all that, this has been Building Character. I'm Rick, and I'll see you at the game store.
Thanks for watching Building Character. If you liked it, leave a like and a comment below, and make sure to subscribe so you don't miss any new content.